So he gives us many examples here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The statement like everyone's view is a product of his own prejudice, or all your so-called facts are only beliefs dictated by your cultural biases falter for the same reason, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's view is a product of his own prejudice, including that one. So, yes. Okay, well, that doesn't say much about
Okay, fine. So we know what your prejudices
right.
are,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Stop being prejudiced.
Yeah, we all got them, and you got one too here.
All your so-called facts are only beliefs dictated by your cultural biases, including that one, that facts are dictated by beliefs of my culture.
Yeah, are your facts dictated?
Right.
Are your beliefs dictated by your cultural biases, right? In other words, you kind of, turn the question over on itself and ask, and if it can't stand, then it's self-destructive, right? It refutes itself. Yeah.
Are these views themselves merely a product of prejudice or cultural bias? If so, why take them seriously?
Yeah.
So again, why take them seriously? You push the button, self-destruct. Push it a couple times.
Yeah. Here's another example. He calls, religious self-destruction, right? The notion of religious pluralism, he tells us, is the idea that all religions are equally true or valid. And he says this is self-refuting as well.
Sure.
Right? If all religions are true, then Christianity is true. Yet a central claim of classical Christianity is that other religions are false. And so you see where I'm going here. If you think in here, you can see where I'm going, right? Central claim of Christianity, classic Christianity, is that other religions are false when taken as a whole. So here's the issue. Either Christianity is correct that Jesus is God's Messiah for the world, and other religions are false, or Christianity is false and some other view is true. And so in no case can all religions be true and valid.
Right.
Right?
Because some of them have exclusivity, like Christianity, classical Christianity. I'm not sure about the liberal view of it, how you get around to that. I am always a truth and a life, I guess, maybe, if you want to.
Yeah.
And so,
but there's several more.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine, except for those that also claim exclusivity, which the Judaism, Islam, to account for some of them. Kind of the big monos talk about one God, and you can't have a pantheon there, unless you get into Mormonism, and that's a whole nother bag of self-harm that happens. So again, this chapter deals with a lot of different type of examples to kind of make the point. If you're not used to this. Looking at the claim initially and seeing if it applies to itself, then this would be a good chapter to read. Things like, we talked about evolution only gives us the ability to survive, and so only presents us with survivable instincts and things that benefit only survival. And so if a truth claim is not beneficial to our survival, we could be delusional.
Right.
There's the delusion right there.
Yeah.
And so you talk about that claim. Okay, well, if evolution only gives us the ability to survive, does that claim itself just give us the ability to survive? Is it true at all then? Yeah. How do we know that's true? How would we know that's true?
Yeah.
And does it present us with survivability? I don't know how knowing that we can survive with survivability allows us to survive, but
now your head's starting to spin.
There you go.
Here's another one here. He says, here's one. Atman is Brahman and Brahman is Atman.
Yeah, this is a good one. So this one talks about kind of like East versus West type mentality, and so the whole Christianity is white man's religion. You don't get this issue with Eastern philosophy. Well, you kind of do.
Yeah, so the idea here is that pantheistic monism, at the heart of some versions of it anyway, teaches that reality as we know it is an illusion, right? Maya, and of which each of us is a part. So this Hindu concept, he tells us that the world is an illusion, contradicts the idea that I can know that I'm a player in the illusion, right? Implicitly, it claims that I'm not real right? Myself, and that I am real at the same time.
Right. We did talk about this in Nancy Pearcey's book.
Yeah. So the central doctrine here of Hinduism self-destructs. If I am an illusion, how could I know it? How could I possess true knowledge that does not exist? Right? I think, therefore, I ain't. Do people in a dream know they're imaginary? Does Charlie Brown know that he's a cartoon character? Right? No, it's just an illusion. Well, okay, if that's the case, then am I an illusion, and how do I know it? Right? Is the issue here, right? So the concept here self-destructs once you apply it to itself.
Right. Right. And we just don't get out of the law of non-contradiction by saying, oh, that's kind of a Western type mentality, because, a computer works just as well in China and India than in New York or Los Angeles. And so you still have...
No kidding.
You still have...
So I can go to India, plug in my computer, and it'll work.
Yeah, it's not illusionary.
Wow.
Or the other side of Jupiter, or wherever you might be. And so you either have to say that the law of non-contradiction is local or doesn't apply everywhere at all times, but then does it apply there? Is that true everywhere? Yeah. That the law of non-contradictions don't apply everywhere?
Yeah. And right. And, yeah.
And see, this is kind of the benefit of having the internal critique is you're looking at what they're presenting you, and before you're even talking about the benefits of having an objective value of God, which is outside of humanity, it's objective value for God, and we talked about that with Mitch Stokes and how he kind of presents a subjective value in God's mind. So listen to the interview with Mitch Stokes on that one, or you just have the ability to figure out where to take the conversation from there, and if it fails kind of to meet its own claim, then bring that forward, push the button.
And again, you do this, with grace, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not ugly, you're not mean, you're not trying to humiliate the person, right? You're trying to point out this particular issue and then move on from there, as you said. Mm-hmm. Well, I can't help but this last one in this chapter, this one is, he says, I once saw a sign in a restaurant that read, quote, "You are what you eat." I pointed out to the waitress that if we were what we eat, then we couldn't be something until we ate something. But we can't eat something unless we are something. Therefore, it's not true that we are what we eat. The waitress, unschooled in the finer points of self-refuting arguments, looked at me and said, "You'll have to take that up with the manager."
It's like when you see 10 items or less. No, it's 10 items or fewer. Come on now.